are Pro Cannabis Media.
Welcome back to the C Block of Cannabis Coast to Coast News. I'm Alaina Pinto. Have you downloaded the PCMTV app yet? It's the best way to get access to our weekly news show and access to the top news stories and programs with just one touch of the app, available at Google Play or the App Store. You can also scan the QR code now to get immediate access. If you want to get immediate access, though, to the latest developments with the Indigenous Cannabis Industry Association, you'll want to check out Tina Tasaka's reports. And now you will need your passport since that group is taking their influence worldwide. Here's Tina.
I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies, and this is the Nevada and Tribal Nations report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. The Indigenous Cannabis Industry Association has been globe-hopping, and for good reason. On October 18th and 19th, Rob Pirro went to Peru and attended the inaugural Andean Hemp and Cannabis Trade Forum. This is a partnership with the Indigenous Cannabis Industry Association and the Global Cannabis Network Collective. This historic event offers informative sessions about the region's legal framework and opens doors for companies looking to launch hemp and medicinal cannabis brands in Peru and South America. Meanwhile, Mary Jane Oatman was attending the Indigenous BizCon, whereby she was not only a speaker, the ICIA was a sponsor. The BizCon was held at the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino in Milwaukee, and the mission is for revitalizing traditions, driving innovation within tribal nations. Rob Pirro is the founder of the Indigenous Cannabis Industry Association, and Mary Jane Oatman is the executive director. Can you say, I'll take one of those labs to go? 2 weeks ago, I reported on a big drug bust in Lyon County, Nevada. Well, based on that seizure and deputies discovering and seizing 3,500 pounds of marijuana and other unlawful items from an illegal grow operation, the Nevada Cannabis Compliance Board used this opportunity to do a field test on a new $18,000 portable light lab.
You input the sample here through a syringe. The sample runs up through this filter, through the system, and then out the waste. And in 8.5 minutes, roughly, you'll get a result that comes up.
CCB Executive Director James Hum emphasized the equipment's value, allowing law enforcement to quickly assess THC content on site, which can save time and resources.
It'll tell you exactly what chemicals are inside the plant, concentrate, or edible that you just tested. This is a light lab, technology new to the state of Nevada, and the Cannabis Compliance Board says it's going to be a critical tool for law enforcement boots on the ground who need to know what risks they face during drug busts.
He also reminded consumers to only purchase marijuana from dispensaries to avoid potential risk from illicit grows. That's it for the Nevada highlights and Tribal Nations. I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies and Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
New York's fledgling cannabis market has been an adventure and frustration for many. Now the city is offering a low-interest loan to qualified social equity applicants. The Green Market Report released the story about these 3-year, $100,000 loans that social equity licensees from the conditional adult use retail license can apply for. Cannabis's #1 personality, Snoop Dogg, is spending some time in New York City, too. Snoop is a regular coach on NBC's weekly show called The Voice, and this week he decided to stop in on the Today Show and was invited over to do the weatherboard with Al Roker. If you can see some of the cities and towns Snoop had to report on, from Potsdam, Pennsylvania, to Mary Jane Valley in Nevada, with stops in Roach, Missouri, and Blunt, South Dakota, there's only one Snoop Dogg, right? Love that. Okay, now it's time for the Ohio Report. Here's Christina Brisson, now sponsored by Yellow Labs, available in 40 dispensaries in Ohio and now in Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Christina Brisson with Over the Top Renovations with your weekly Ohio Cannabis Report with Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Quick update for sales. Recreational sales have gone over $109 million, and since the inception of medical marijuana in January of 2019, we've achieved over $1.99 billion in sales. And in the last 30 days, the price of an ounce has dropped from $230 to $223.50. So we're seeing those prices slowly come down. But when it comes to earning, in 2025, banks are projected to earn up to $2 million in interest alone in providing capital to the cannabis industry. And continuing with this ongoing stream of moratoriums, now Troy, Ohio is considering this. There will be a meeting held at City Hall on November 4th, and the public is welcome. They'll be taking comments to make a decision, so speak up, Troy. That is your weekly Ohio Cannabis Report, and I am Christina Brisson with Over the Top Renovations and Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
The Ohio Cannabis Report is supported by Yellow Labs and BetterWaysToTHC.com. Search for Yellow Labs near me and find one of 40 dispensaries in Ohio carrying these amazing mists and creams.
A new study from the University of Colorado at Boulder is giving hope to chronic back pain sufferers. Researchers found that cannabis edibles, especially those high in THC, can significantly reduce lower back pain. Over 200 participants tried different types of edibles for 2 weeks. The results? THC-dominant products came out on top for pain relief. CBD-dominant edibles didn't do as much for pain, but they did help with tension. This study adds to the growing evidence that cannabis could be a safer alternative to traditional pain meds. It's a promising development that could change the game for millions dealing with chronic back pain. Jill Goldsberry is back with us from New Jersey this week. Here's her Garden State Cannabis Report.
Hey, welcome to Cannabis Coast to Coast News. I'm Jill Goldsberry with the New Jersey Report, and here's what's going on in New Jersey. We've got some news. The New Jersey Cannabis Training Academy for Entrepreneurs launched this week. And back in January, the New Jersey Business Action Center announced the selection of the Cannabis Training Academy teachers for the Education Assistance Program. It is an online program that has 5 different levels of classes, and it's available right now. And it's for free. It's available on nj.gov. Students can take the classes and for free, like I said, up to, I believe, level 3. And if you are hiring in an impact zone as a cannabis entrepreneur, you will have access to the advanced classes. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Speakers at the recent press conference included Executive Director of the Academy, Tahid Chappelle, and New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission Chair, Diana Hugh. And the goal of the program is to level the playing field for entrepreneurs who have faced challenges in the past. In other news, just in time for Halloween, we got a little wellness kicked off at the Golden Door Dispensary in Jersey City. It's a veteran-owned space, and they hosted the Puff and Polish 2024 wellness event featuring yoga by Urban Souls, protein bars by Spica, and cannabis by It's Alive NYS. It's Live Cannabis on Instagram, and you could find more information about them on Instagram. They are a live dried cannabis brand, and it's brand new. So we're very happy. They were very happy to be a part of this event. And New Jersey is set to host its very first cannabis influencer content creator house. You heard me correctly. This house is going to be a creator content space for 2 days from October 23rd to the 25th in Neptune, New Jersey. And if you're a content creator in the food space, in the wellness space, in the beauty space or fashion space, reach out to Butter Cake on Instagram and see if you can get your ticket, score your seat at the table. You could check out some more of my conversation with Martha Figaro, the CEO of Butter Cake, about the cookies that will probably be at the event. All right. I'm Jill with Coast to Coast Cannabis News, with Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Good evening. This is Jeff Aker with Cannabis News, Coast to Coast from Florida. Yes, I made it through the hurricane. It was scary, I can tell you that. And I've been very busy in my recovery efforts of cleaning up around my house. It was a mess. Well, what's happened this week, or 2 weeks since I've talked to you last? We're getting closer, less than 2 weeks from the date. Early voting starts Monday, where the polls in my county are going to be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to to facilitate the vote. A couple things that have gone on. My wife actually got a voicemail from Ron DeSantis asking her to vote no. I saw a neat thing by Grady Judd, the Polk County Sheriff, saying he doesn't support it, but if we voted in, he will go by what we say because he works for us. And that's what I feel Ron DeSantis needs to do, is if it passes, he needs to build a great program for Florida. Get with every governor across the country that has recreational cannabis. Find out which programs work the best. Take pride in that program was built in his state. One of the most successful programs in the country. Take pride in that. Try to do that. Thank you for your support and prayers for my well-being through the hurricane. And I will be back next week with more news as we get closer for Florida. Again, I'm Jeff Aker, Master Gardener for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
While federal lawmakers continue to pick sides over giving the industry access to safe banking, dispensaries become targets for robberies and violence. At the top of the show, we told you about the double fatal shooting in Oregon. Well, Delaware isn't waiting for the feds. They are giving access to banks as their legal adult use market kicks off. Governor John Carney signed a bill this week that amends Title 16 of the Delaware Code that will shield banks, credit unions, and other financial providers from state-level prosecution for working with plant-touching businesses. Another part of those new protections extends to armored car services and CPAs. That market is already taking license applications, and that number is up to 1,200 in that tiny state. This week, the United States Hemp Authority announced they are launching a new adult hemp product certification program. Since that industry has been asking for federal regulations since Congress passed the Farm Bill in 2018, the hemp industry is taking on this self-regulation initiative. These standards are designed to control the quality and labeling of their products and the rogue sales of products to underage 21 consumers. The U.S. Hemp Authority is hopeful they can corral the bad actors amongst them who have been driving the exploding intoxicating hemp industry. Setting a safe set of rules and regulations is what the FDA was supposed to do for 6 years. Even Senator Ron Wyden's new federal bill is designed to hand regulation rules to the FDA that could include this new certification program as a guide. And finally tonight, a new multi-state operator has opened its doors in Buffalo, New York, called Starbuds. But this is not the first cannabis company operating under the name of Starbuds. In fact, there are two. One is a multi-state operator that opened in Buffalo, New York. They are owned by Medicine Man Technologies. That LLC does business as Schwazee, with operations in Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, Oklahoma, and Mississippi. This is the exterior of the Buffalo dispensary, and you might notice the black and green balloons that might remind you of a certain coffee chain that originated in Seattle. But it was this food truck in New York City, operated by Brand Pat LLC, that sparked the lawsuit and caught Starbucks' eyes to start with a copyright infringement lawsuit. It was filed by Starbucks this past summer, and this week, a judge says it's time to destroy all logos and products containing the copycat images. Stories like this just shows that the cannabis industry has to start using their heads more and less of their product more responsibly. After all, that's why we end each show reminding people that it is a whole new world of weed out there. Use it responsibly. That's Cannabis Coast to Coast News this week. I'm Alaina Pinto. We'll see you next week.
I think I messed up. Did you know there's a place that covers all the cannabis news you need? Welcome to Pro Cannabis Media, your go-to for all things cannabis. PCM is the CNBC of weed, bringing you the latest news and talk shows with a twist. We've got 16 state correspondents and multimedia journalists from around the US and Canada. It all started back in 2018 when founder Jimmy Young kicked off the In the Weeds podcast. His mission? documenting the fight to end cannabis prohibition. Fast forward to today, and we've got Cannabis Coast to Coast with Alaina Pinto delivering the nation's only TV-style cannabis news show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cannabis Coast to Coast News, Pro Cannabis Media's weekly roundup of the news from the industry. I'm Alaina Pinto.
As of August 2024, PCM has racked up over 1.2 million views and 14.5 million impressions on our YouTube channel. With 15,000 subscribers and growing, our reach is spreading like wildfire. Cannabis Coast to Coast News, hosted by Alaina Pinto, features insights, interviews, and fresh perspectives from our network of 16 correspondents. It's your weekly dose of professional cannabis news straight from the experts. So, where can you catch all this awesome content? PCM's website, YouTube, Rumble, Discord, Roku, Twitch, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and even our very own PCM TV app. We've got over 1,000 videos in our archive, so there's always something new to watch.